At its heart, wokeness is divisive, exclusionary, and hateful.
Go yourself.
I don't care.
The woke mind virus is communism rebranded.
And unfortunately, Disney is deeply infected with the woke mind virus.
Like, wokeness basically wants to make comedy illegal, which is not cool.
It's really annoying when a video game gets interrupted by some DEI woke bullshit.
Yes, you want censorship and I don't. No, I'm just saying that we should not lower the standards for that.
You know, those are two of the aspects of the woke mind virus that I think are very dangerous.
If we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away. Yeah, I guess if you consider fighting the woke mind virus, which I consider to be a civilizational threat.
So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus. So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that, and we're making some progress.
The outcome of that mind virus is very clear if you walk around the streets of downtown San Francisco. It is the end of civilization. Woke mind virus is when you stop caring about people's skills, their integrity, and you start focusing instead on gender and race and other things that are different from that. The woke mind virus is fundamentally racist, fundamentally sexist, and fundamentally evil.
You tweeted this thing about George Soros. You also you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that, do you
I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially because, I mean, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you?
I can agree with Elon Musk. I must say, the woke mind virus is very dangerous for the rest of the humanity, and we should do whatever we can to stop it at all costs. Otherwise, humanity is going to go extinct eventually. It's very sad to see.
Advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you.
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are, but I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got to hurt the company. Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position, and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man?
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it. I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. You know, I was told, oh, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil. And I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah.
All right, so the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That's a very, very sad story. He's basically lost his son. His son is not a son anymore, but a girl. His son became a girl. And doesn't want to have to do anything with his father anymore, unfortunately, and it's very sad for him. And I can totally understand that someone in that situation would do whatever he can for that it never happen to anybody else.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty. And lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that, and we're making some progress.
Join the club.
Yeah.
There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself. But go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
How do you think then about the economics of X? part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift. Maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising. What do you do?
I think Elon Musk has a mind on his own. He do whatever he wants now that he's rich and famous. Basically, he has a lot of money. He has a lot of influence, and now he can do basically what pleases him, such as buying Twitter, for example, to increase his influence, so he can do whatever he wants on the platform.
Why? I understand that, but there's a reality too.
The amount of indoctrination that's happening in schools and universities is, I think, far beyond what parents realize. Let me give you an example that a friend of mine told me, which his daughters go to high school in the Bay Area, and he was asking them, like, who are the first few presidents of the United States? They could name Washington, and I said, well, what do you know about him? Well, he was a slave owner. What else?
Right. Exactly.
Nothing.
Right.
Like, okay, that's maybe you should know more than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slavery is obviously a horrific institution, but we should still know more about George Washington than that. It's really annoying.
Yeah, totally think that our school system is completely broken, and parents should pay very, very close attention to what teachers are teaching in school and what their kids are learning in school. I think they should play a big role into the education of their children and pay close attention to what they learn in school, so that they don't get false ideology formatting from the system.
When the video game gets interrupted by some DEI woke bullshit, and I'm like, Jesus, I was playing a video game here. Can you just leave the video games alone? You don't want to do things that damage art. So it breaks you out of the story.
At its heart, wokeness is divisive, exclusionary, and hateful. It basically gives mean people a shield to be mean and cruel, armored in false virtue. I mean, generally, I think we should be aiming for like a positive society, and that it should be okay to be humorous. We should like wokeness basically wants to make comedy illegal, which is not cool.
We've experienced a little bit of that.
I mean, Chappelle, like what the
flower bed.
I mean, trying to shut down Chappelle? Come on, man. That's crazy.
Yes, you want censorship and I don't.
No, I don't want censorship at
Yes,
all.
you do.
No, I want responsibility.
You want censorship so bad you can taste it.
No, that's not true. I think that there's right and wrong. When you have a platform that's as big as yours and as powerful as yours and as influential as yours, that there is a certain responsibility that goes along with what you have on your platform and what you put out to the world. I think that's important.
I think we have a responsibility to adhere to the law, and if people want the law changed, they should go to their elected representative and get the law changed, and then we will adhere to the law. But if you want us to go beyond the law, that is us deciding to be censors. And I'm against censorship. I'm in favor of freedom of speech. And freedom of speech only is relevant when people you don't like say things you don't like. Otherwise, it has no meaning.
Do you believe that women and minority pilots are...
I agree with him that censorship overall is a bad thing, and that we should have as little as censorship as possible everywhere, especially online.
Inherently less intelligent and less skilled than white male pilots.
No, I'm just saying that we should not lower the standards for them.
Okay, but there's no evidence that standards are being lowered when it comes to the airline industry.
You've repeatedly said that there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, and watch the replies showing all the evidence that it is.
Replies, though, on social media or on Twitter are not necessarily fact and evidence. That's people's opinion.
They will cite in the replies to this. You will see how often the information is cited, showing that indeed there are significant cases where standards are lowered. I believe that Boeing changed to include DEI as a fundamental executive incentive. In my view, it should be purely about passenger safety.
Okay, but do you understand?
Totally agree with him. Safety comes first. Before race, before sex, before gender, before you should be competent. You should be skilled for the job. And they should probably only look at that and at that first. And not lower standards to meet some kind of quota and meet their ESG regulation or quotas, etc.
How by saying just that standards are being lowered, and that you're implying that they're being lowered because people are less skilled and less intelligent, and you're talking about people of color and or women.
Look, I'm saying we should not lower standards.
But do you don't?
First of all, what is the woke mind virus? And if we don't deal with this, nothing else can get done. Tell me why you think that.
Yeah, so I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic and anything that is that results in the suppression of free speech. You know, those are two of the aspects of the woke mind virus that I think are very dangerous. You can't question things. Even the questioning is bad. So you know, another way to almost synonymous would be cancel culture. And obviously, people have tried to cancel you many times.
Many times.
Yeah, I mean,
every week.
Yeah.
From left and right. I've had it from both sides.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. People, you and I are both like in that little group of people, maybe it's a bigger group now,
yeah,
who are called conservative, who haven't really changed. I don't think of you as a conservative.
I'm definitely, yeah, like, I at least think of myself as a moderate, so.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk is a moderate, but the Democratic Party didn't want to work with him, so he went to the Republican side. And that's totally normal, that's totally understandable. I'm a moderate as well, and I understand his position very well.
I mean, at least, I've spent a massive amount of my life energy building sustainable energy, electric vehicles and batteries and solar and stuff to help save the environment. That's not a,
No.
I'm literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, and then it disappeared. Why do that?
Well, COVID is no longer an issue. Does the BBC hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations, and not reporting on that at all? And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This is not an interview about the BBC.
Oh, you thought it wasn't?
I see now why you've done Twitter Spaces. I am not a representative of the BBC's editorial policy. I want to make that clear.
Because all this controversy, I believe, as you know, has made X less appealing to advertisers. About half of them have left the platform. You call advertisers that left X.com. You said they were oppressors. You've even gone as far as saying it publicly that they can go F themselves or go F themselves.
If they're going to force censorship on the company before advertising, then obviously I find that unacceptable.
You find it?
I think he did the right thing. I think he set a very good example for everybody to follow, that you should not be blackmailed with money. You cannot dictate what other people want you to do if they pay you money for this. You should do what you believe in. You should fight for what you believe in. And you should fight for the right thing and try to do the right thing according to what you think is right, and not what other people want to push on you.
Unacceptable. Why is that not a form of free speech? They are free to advertise where they want. They're not beholden to, they're not obligated to advertise.
They're not obligated.
On X.com.
Right.
So how is that not free speech?
So that's, whereas the other platforms will censor on behalf of advertisers, the X platform will not.
Okay. So, but you think you don't think it's okay for them not to advertise with or have their content or their advertisement next to something that is anti-Semitic or...
That is a different question. You can absolutely choose where, next to which content do you want your advertising to appear. Absolutely, of course. And we have, I think, very good ad placement controls in this regard.
Yeah. So you said if they kill the company, it's them. But doesn't the buck stop with you? I mean, you're...
Don, I have to say, choose your question carefully. There's 5 minutes left.
Okay, but so...
Is this the question you want to ask?
The same question is, you said that they are killing the company, but you're the head of the company. The buck doesn't stop with you?
I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment, and I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it. Everyone was a slave. Everyone.
Well, not everyone was a slave.
No,
but,
everyone was a slave.
Okay, but
No, all descended from slaves.
yeah, well,
All of us.
yeah. But,
It's just a question of when. Was it more recent or less recent? That's it.
that doesn't mean a lot to a whole lot of people who aren't able to take advantage of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of, simply because the color of your skin.
What advantages did it do? What color my skin give me?
Well, there's an ease that you have in society that many people of color don't.
If we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away.
You get taxed on what you own, you get taxed on what you buy, and you get taxed on what you own. And it's like, okay, this is, you know, taxes, and you know, and then what does it get spent on? A bunch of the stuff it gets spent on you don't even agree with. So you know that's why we need to reduce the size of government and just spend less money and you know, let the people keep a lot more of their hard-earned money. You know, it's yeah. So.
Yeah, I think he's doing the right thing. I think he's talking about the right thing there. I think we should all have freedom of speech. I think we should all consider skills before gender. I think we should prioritize family, country. I think you should work for the bettering of humanity overall and not for its decadence. I think it's great to preserve the environment, but not at the cost of people's lives and technology advancement. I think reducing the size of the government and the influence that it has over private enterprise, also a great idea to boost the economy and to create jobs and to grow the GDP basically. And have people work hard at it to earn tons of money and make sure they earn a living and reduce the inflation at the same time. I think the next couple of years are going to be great. We will see what happens.
Purchasing X, you've become more political. Is there a part of you that regrets that?
Have I?
In this battle to sort of counterweigh the woke that comes from
I guess if you consider fighting the woke mind virus, which I consider to be a civilizational threat, to be political, then yes.
So basically going into the battleground of politics. Is there a part of you that regrets that?
Yes, I don't know if this is necessarily sort of one candidate or another candidate, but it's I'm generally against things that are anti-meritocratic or where there's an attempt to suppress discussion, where even discussing a topic is, not allowed. The woke mind virus is communism rebranded.
Wow. That's some strong accusation right there. The woke mind virus wants the end of civilization. The woke mind virus is communism rebranded. Insane. Insane as you think that.
Well, I mean, that said, because of that battle against the woke mind virus, you're perceived as being right wing.
If the woke is left, then I suppose that would be true. But I'm not sure. I think there are aspects of the left that are good. I mean, if you're in favor of, the environment, if you want to have a positive future for humanity, if you believe in empathy for your fellow human beings, being kind and not cruel, whatever those values are.
You said that you were previously left or center left. What would you like to see in order for you to consider voting for Democrats again?
No, I would say that I would be probably left of center on social issues, probably a little bit right of center on economic issues.
And that still holds true.
Yes, but I think that's probably, half the country, isn't that?
Maybe more.
Yeah, I think in general, people are moderate. I think it's only a fringe minority that is on the far right and on the far left. And that we should all strive to come together in the middle and make policies and make laws that goes moderately against for everything.
Maybe more.
Are you and AOC secretly friends? Or bigger question, do you wish you and her and just people in general of all political persuasions would talk more and with empathy and maybe have a little bit more fun and good vibes and humor online?
I'm always in favor of humor. That's why we have a funny mode.
but good vibes, camaraderie, humor. You know, like friendship.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't know AOCF. I've only been at one. I was at the Met Ball when she attended, and she was wearing this dress, but I can only see one side of it, so it looked like "Eat the Itch," but I don't know.
Eat the itch. That's funny.
What the rest of it said? Yeah,
yeah, something.
I'm not sure.
Something about the itch. Eat the itch.
I think we should have a language model complete. What are the possible ways to complete that sentence?
All the young people, not only the young people from an important Italian party, and most of them use the social network. They use X, and I saw in the past days that the CEO of Disney said, "I don't want to invest any advertising on X," and he's investing, for example, in the Meta, in the Instagram, and he said there are problems of. I don't know which kind of problem they find on X. In comparison. I want
child exploitation on Instagram.
What's going on? Why an important investor like Disney says something so tough on X? What's going on there?
Well, I think first of all, I think X will be fine, and we are actually already seeing advertisers return to X. So I guess they were upset with something I said or something. I don't know. But they, advertisers, I think.
Yeah, I think the advertisers basically try to blackmail Elon Musk, try to blackmail X and change the platform to adhere to their worldview. And of course, that's a bad thing to do. And they saw that it didn't work, that Elon Musk wouldn't bow to their will. And now they are coming back because they want market shares like everybody else. They want to stay competitive and they want to advertise where people are. And a lot of people are on X and on previously Twitter now. So they are missing a huge size of the market if they don't advertise on X. So many are coming back, fortunately for the company.
The brand advertisers are they're always worried about their brand. And, maybe a bit more than they should be. But I think it's a short-term issue. Like I said, the advertisers, they sometimes get upset, but then they usually calm down and they return to advertising. So,
come on, you know that there is the woke virus over there.
Well, yes,
we have to say so. I don't want to answer for you.
Yeah, no, you're right. If we're going to fight the woke mind virus, then the woke mind virus will fight back. And unfortunately, Disney is deeply infected with the woke mind virus. In fact, if you ask an AI, what is the most woke company on earth, it's Disney.
Really?
It's sad for Disney. Disney is not what it used to be.
And you have to say, I think they should be asking themselves, what would Walt Disney think of Disney today? I think he's turning in his grave. I think he's not happy.
Sure.
If the namesake of the company is not happy, that's probably a bad sign, Because Walt Disney, what did he care about? He cared about bringing joy to people's lives. He making wonderful things that children and families could enjoy. He created some of the coolest, art in the world, and stuff that even 100 years after it's created, we still remember it. And it's still a major thing. But you have to say, how great was Walt Disney? He was amazing.
I agree.
Now, Disney, at least for now, is deeply infected with the woke mind virus. I think that will, that will change.
I hope so. You're right. The European Commission, they're not investing on X. You know that.
Maybe they got the woke mind virus too. Yeah.
You don't care.
I think so.
Shallow empathy is you have like empathy that's essentially skin deep, and then you don't. But it's ultimately bad for civilization and results in the destruction of civilization. And Gutside's got a good term for this: suicidal empathy. So he's going to sort of deconstruct what's where does this come from, and I mean, part of it, I suppose, is sort of the decline of religion. So, as the saying goes, nature abhors a vacuum. So when you have essentially a decline in religion, an increase in the secular nature of society, for most people, they need something to fill that void. And so they adopt a religion. It's not called a religion, but effectively like woke, the woke mind virus. It takes the place of religion.
Yes.
And they internalize it and they feel it with religious fervor.
Yes. And rigidity.
Yes. Yes. And they essentially conduct like a holy war, effectively. It's just not called a religion, but it is a religion, sort of a woke holy war. And they're highly resistant to change, as is normal for religions. So now, for myself, I sort of see myself as a sort of engineer, physicist. For me, I'm culturally Christian. I grew up Christian. I mean, I was Anglican. I was baptized.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same position as Elon Musk as well. I'm an engineer. And I grew up a Christian. And now I've been questioning everything, unfortunately. We will see where it goes.
I went to Sunday school.
Yeah.
Actually, oddly enough, I was sent to Hebrew preschool and Anglican Sunday school at the same time. So it was Hab Gila one day, Jesus Elo the next, which is, if you're 5 years old, it's fine. So, but I'm not Jewish. It's just that my father's two partners in his engineering firm went to the same Hebrew preschool, and it was near our house, so I just got sent there. So, but maybe this will make me even more amused, but I have trouble sort of believing all these stories, these religious stories, but obviously a lot of people do. And I respect people who want to have religious views. I'm not trying to dissuade them from their religious views, but anyway, I'm just saying, I guess the operating system I have is sort of a physics engineering operating system where I try to understand as much as possible about reality.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. He's basically asking himself where we come from, why are we here, where are we going, what is the purpose of life. These are all the very metaphysical questions that we should strive to answer, but we don't have all the answer. We will not have all the answer ever. There's probably some supernatural higher being that controls everything, that is as the origin of everything, the universe and life. And we don't have the keys to everything. We don't have the answer on everything. And even if we keep looking, we will not find it. I don't believe so.
In physics, you're not supposed to believe anything absolutely. You're supposed to question things. That's how you discover new physics. In engineering, that's how you discover if your machine will work or not work. Will the rocket get to orbit? If your rocket is designed with physics in mind correctly, it will get to orbit, and if it is not, it will not get to orbit, no matter what your belief system is. You can believe, it's like I meet a lot of people, speaking of LA, I meet a lot of people in LA who believe witchcraft is real, and that you can do spells, and that spells and witchcraft, magic is real. I'm like, can you magic us to the moon? And no one has yet been able to magic us to the moon. Well, spells can't be that good. Okay, if you can't, I want to go to the moon. Let's go. How about Mars? And
we got to the moon the first time.
We definitely went to the moon. Yes, we went to the moon. We didn't go to the moon. We went to the moon several times.
Right. Oh, yeah. I just want to check your view on that.
We 100% went to the moon. I know in depth the technical designs of the rockets, the spacecraft, everything.
Yes.
What went right, what went wrong, and it was a remarkable piece of technology, like an incredible piece of technology to go to the moon in '69.
Yeah.
That was like reaching into the future and pulling the future forward dramatically, and it was an important ideological battle with communism because they couldn't put a person on the moon and capitalism could.
Do you believe there's a power higher than people?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, I agree.
yeah,
There is.
I mean, I think there's a lot we don't know.
There's a lot we don't know.
We don't know. Like,
We can control.
why does reality exist? Why? Where did it come from? Where are the aliens? What questions should we ask that we don't even know to ask? So,
When you say what are the aliens, what do you mean?
where are the aliens?
Oh.
Like, why don't we see them? A lot of people think we see aliens, but I've not seen any evidence of aliens.
I haven't either.
6,000 satellites in orbit, and not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spacecraft.
Right. But on this Earth, the U.S. military's had to do a lot of maneuvering around objects they can't explain.
Well, unidentified flying objects is one thing, but I mean, there's always a bunch of classified programs that are underway of new aircraft and new missiles and things. So that are classified even within the military. So it's only if you have the top secret compartmented clearance, would you know about this new program?
Yeah, that makes sense. If you want to find the aliens, we have to go to other planets, other star system, and try to find life there. Hopefully we will find it soon. We will see if it exists outside of the Earth. That would be a big discovery for everybody.
So then, some pilot sees something moving fast and says, "Hey, I saw a UFO." I'm like, "Yeah, that was actually a new reference program, but we can't tell you that." If you can guarantee that the split second I see any evidence of aliens, I will immediately post that on the X platform. And it'll probably be our #1 post of all time.
That'll be your biggest day,
yes,
for sure.
I mean,
but to the question of a power beyond people, beyond our consciousness, a creator, where are you on that?
Well, we must have come from somewhere. So I guess that there must be some creator or creative force or something that caused our existence to come into being.
Yeah.
What is the nature of that creator? That I think is unknown. At least I think it is. There's. I don't know of a definitive answer to that.
But it sounds like you're open.
Yes, I'm very open to, I'm driven by curiosity.
Yes.
And I'm trying to understand more about the nature of the universe. So my driving philosophy is to understand the meaning of life, or really what questions to ask if the meaning of life is not the right question. Like as Douglas Adams made the point in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that what is the meaning of life is probably not even the right question. Famously, in that book, the Earth was actually a computer to figure out answer to the question, what is the meaning of life? And then it came up with the answer 42. But then they're like, what does that mean? And it's like, oh, that's the answer, but the question is the really hard part, and you'll need a much bigger computer than Earth to figure that one out.
That was a great video. I hope you enjoyed it with me, guys. We learned a lot of things. It was very funny, very entertaining to watch. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with me to the end. Click right there to watch the next video, and I will see you there. Until next time, bye bye.